If your app crashes for like 60 seconds on Super Bowl Sunday, you don't just lose a few pizza orders.
Oh no, you lose millions of dollars.
Exactly. And you permanently destroy your brand's reputation with thousands of hungry, very angry customers. I mean, tapping a piece of illuminated glass to get a burger delivered to your couch, it feels like a modern magic trick.
It really does.
Oh.
But behind that glass is a ruthless, high-stakes digital battlefield.
Yeah, it's a massive vulnerability point for any business. We interact with this sleek user interface, completely oblivious to the staggering orchestration of code.
And the real-time servers.
Right, the servers and the human logistics required just to keep those fries warm. The software isn't just a menu, it is the entire central nervous system of the operation.
It really is.
So today's deep dive is about dissecting that nervous system. We are unpacking a mountain of industry data focused on the elite, on-demand food delivery app development companies, both in the US and globally.
It's a fascinating data set.
It is. And the mission today is to understand the mechanics of this booming market, to look under the hood at the actual hard costs of building these platforms, and figure out why on earth businesses choose to hire specialized development agencies rather than, just building the tech themselves. Okay, let's unpack this.
Well, we have to start by establishing the sheer scale of the arena these platforms are operating in. I mean, in 2023, the global food delivery app market hit over $154 billion.
Wow.
Yeah, and current trajectories put it at a projected $192 billion by 2025. It is an ocean of capital, but it is heavily consolidated.
Right, because the data points to DoorDash holding a massive 59% market share in the US alone.
They are the undeniable heavyweight.
Yeah, followed by giants like Uber Eats and Grubhub. And looking at this market, it seems a lot like deciding you want to open a new indie coffee shop right in the middle of Times Square.
That's a great analogy.
Right. Like, yes, the foot traffic is astronomical, the pie is huge, but the competition is established, well-funded, and frankly, ruthless.
Absolutely.
So if the market is completely dominated by a few giants and you're facing lower overhead because you don't carry the burden of an independent contractor fleet.
Exactly.
But your brand reputation is entirely at the mercy of a local pizzeria's delivery driver. I mean, if that guy gets a flat tire or simply takes too long, the customer doesn't blame the restaurant.
No, they don't.
They leave a one-star review on your app.
And that is the primary vulnerability of the aggregator model. You surrender control over the final mile of the user experience.
Right.
The alternative is the order and delivery model, where you take the order and employ a dedicated fleet of delivery personnel.
Which introduces an entirely different level of complexity. I mean, now you are managing real-time GPS tracking, driver dispatch, dynamic delivery fees based on weather and traffic.
It is exponentially more complex, but it guarantees faster, more efficient, and controlled delivery. You own the experience from the moment they tap the glass to the moment the food arrives.
Which is huge for retention.
Exactly. And while the giants use this model, a local startup can use it too. They can dominate a specific geographical niche, integrate with emerging ghost kitchens, or service a specific type of cuisine that the big players are ignoring.
But executing that requires a flawless technological foundation.
Flawless, yes.
So assuming a founder figures out their logistics model, they immediately hit a brick wall, the actual software. You can't run a complex three-way dispatch system on a spreadsheet.
No, you definitely can't.
So the classic startup dilemma is whether to build it in-house or hire a specialized development agency.
The temptation for many founders is to just hire a few developers and build it internally, assuming it will keep costs down and give them total ownership of the intellectual property.
Building a custom delivery app in-house is like trying to build a modern commercial airplane while you're already flying it. Or like farming your own wheat and milking your own cows just to bake a pizza.
That's a very vivid way to put it.
It's true, though. You're not just writing a digital menu. You're building a three-way, real-time dispatch system for the restaurant, the driver, and the hungry customer, all communicating simultaneously without lag.
Right.
If your internal team isn't already deeply experienced in this specific type of logistics software, they are learning on your dime.
And the hidden costs of that learning curve are severe. We are talking about massive technical debt.
Oh, absolutely.
An inexperienced team might build an architecture that works fine for, say, 100 users.
Yeah.
But the moment you launch a marketing campaign and 1,000 users log on, you experience database locking.
Let's pause there, Because database locking is a great example of the hidden mechanics. That's what happens when too many simultaneous requests hit the server trying to access the same data.
Exactly.
Like 500 people all trying to claim the same limited time promo code at the exact same second, right? The system panics, locks up, and nobody gets their food.
Precisely. And resolving a deep architectural flaw like that post-launch is incredibly expensive and time-consuming.
And stressful.
Very. You also face a much higher risk of critical security flaws, particularly concerning payment gateways and user data. Conversely, hiring a specialized agency provides a structural safeguard.
Because they've done it before.
Exactly. They have deployed these specific architectures dozens of times. They understand the edge cases.
And that structural safeguard translates to the most important metric for a startup, which is faster time to market. You aren't paying a team to figure out how to integrate the Google Maps API for driver routing.
No, you're paying a team that already has the integration modules built and tested.
Right.
Speed is critical for gaining a competitive edge. But what's equally important is the ecosystem of support provided after the initial code is written.
And it's not just code.
Exactly. Dedicated agencies don't just hand over a repository of code. They bring in marketing teams who understand App Store optimization. They bring in quality assurance experts who systematically try to break the app before the public does.
Which allows the founders to actually focus on running their business operations. I mean, you can't be negotiating exclusivity contracts with popular local restaurants if you're up at 3 a.m. trying to fix a bug in your app's Apple Pay integration.
Dividing focus between operations and software debugging is a primary reason any-stage delivery platforms fail. You need a dedicated technical partner.
Okay, so calling in the cavalry is the obvious strategic move. But as someone looking at these numbers, the immediate question flashing in bright neon lights is the price tag. Here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
The data shows an estimated cost ranging from $42,600 on the low end all the way up to an eye-watering $269,200 for a full development team.
That's a big range.
But later on, when addressing the cost of building an app like DoorDash, it quotes between $25,000 and $50,000. So is it 25 grand or $250,000?
It comes down to the fundamental difference between deploying an off-the-shelf solution versus engineering a fully custom, scalable enterprise platform from scratch. When the data mentions $25,000 to $50,000 to build an app like DoorDash, it is referring to deploying what the industry calls a clone app.
So a pre-built template. The agency has a core architecture already coded, and they are essentially reskinning it. They swap in your logo, adjust your color scheme, tweak a few basic parameters.
Exactly.
It functions like DoorDash, but it is standardized, pre-packaged software.
Right. It is a viable solution for a localized test market, but it is deeply constrained. You cannot easily implement novel features or scale infinitely without hitting the limitations of that pre-built architecture.
That makes sense.
The $269,000 figure accounts for 6 to 8 months of intensive labor from a fully custom, highly specialized team building something entirely unique to your operational needs.
Wait, $250,000 for an app that basically just connects a map to a menu? Even for a custom build, that feels bloated. Where's the friction driving that cost so high?
Well, the friction is in the concurrency and the seamless user experience. Let's look at the roster of specialized professionals required for a custom build.
Okay, who's on the team?
You have a project manager costing up to $30,000 just to ensure the various engineering teams are actually aligned. You have front-end and back-end developers estimating up to $60,000 each.
Plus the mobile app developer, which is another potential $60,000. And I want to highlight the UI/UX designers, listed at up to $19,200.
Oh, that's crucial.
Right. People often reduce UI/UX to just making the app look pretty. But UI/UX isn't about aesthetics. It's about reducing cognitive friction. It's engineering the user journey, so an impulse craving turns into a paid order in 3 taps or less.
Because if a user has to hunt for the checkout button, they abandon the cart.
Exactly.
That is a critical distinction. Poor UX directly impacts the bottom line. But the unsung heroes driving a significant portion of that custom cost are the quality assurance testers and DevOps engineers. DevOps alone is listed at up to $24,000.
And for anyone who doesn't know, DevOps is the discipline of keeping the servers alive when things go viral. It's containerization, dynamically spinning up new server instances the moment a massive traffic spike hits, and then spinning them down when traffic drops so you aren't burning cash on idle server space.
A beautifully designed interface means absolutely nothing if the load balancer fails during a Friday night dinner rush.
Exactly.
When you combine the salaries of these highly specialized professionals working in tandem for over half a year, that $250,000 price tag reflects the sheer complexity of the engineering.
Okay, so we have our logistics model, we know the risks of technical debt, and we understand why a robust backend demands serious venture capital. The next phase is selecting the actual architects.
The fun part.
Yeah, the data highlights 20 top US-based and global firms, but there are a few standout examples that really illustrate what separates the good from the great.
We should look at Geeky Ants as a prime example of architectural pedigree. I mean, they boast over 19,000 GitHub stars and more than 500 completed projects.
Which is huge. A lot of people might see GitHub stars and think it's just a vanity metric for developers.
Oh, it's not.
Right. In this context, it is massive peer validation of their underlying architecture. It means tens of thousands of other software engineers have reviewed their open source code and validated that it is secure, efficient, and exceptionally well built.
Which translates directly to a more stable enterprise app for a client.
Exactly.
That peer-reviewed stability is exactly what you want backing your dispatch system. Another fascinating firm is Five. They prove they can handle absolute enterprise-level scalability because, well, they engineered the online ordering system for Marriott International.
Wow. You do not secure a contract with Marriott to handle global hospitality infrastructure if your servers are prone to crashing under pressure.
Definitely not.
I was also drawn to Enatega. They demonstrate serious niche versatility. They aren't just doing pizza and burgers. They engineer microservices architectures that allow for cloud-based medicine delivery, grocery delivery, and dedicated rider delivery apps.
And that versatility is crucial for startups looking to adapt the on-demand logistics model to entirely new industries. And, if a founder is looking for sheer battle-tested volume, iCoder's is a standout.
Oh, yeah.
They have processed 1.7 million orders for clients across more than 30 different countries, proving they can handle massive concurrent connections across really diverse geographical networks.
With all these elite options, I have to ask, are these agencies essentially just using standard geolocation and database queries, or is there a technological arms race happening behind the scenes?
What's fascinating here is it is absolutely an arms race.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
The basic functionality of tracking a driver's GPS coordinate on a map was revolutionary 5 years ago, but today it is the bare minimum. Firms like Cubics and TechAhead are integrating the Internet of Things, augmented reality, and highly sophisticated artificial intelligence into their platforms just to stay ahead of the curve.
When you say artificial intelligence in a food delivery app, people usually imagine something gimmicky, like a chatbot predicting I'm going to crave tacos on a Tuesday.
Right.
But the real AI application is in the logistics engine, isn't it?
It is. The AI is operating quietly in the background, performing multivariable calculus every second. It's not just looking at driver distance on a map.
Okay, what else is it doing?
The algorithm is pinging the restaurant's kitchen tablet, calculating the chef's real-time prep speed for a specific dish based on historical data, cross-referencing that with live traffic and weather data, and dispatching the driver so they walk through the door the exact second the order is bagged.
That is the magic happening in the back end. It's squeezing every possible second of inefficiency out of the delivery route, which allows drivers to complete more trips per hour, increasing their earnings and the platform's overall margin.
It also enables dynamic pricing models, surging delivery fees instantly when rain starts to fall in a specific zip code and driver supply drops. It is algorithmic warfare for market share.
So put yourself in the shoes of a founder reviewing this landscape. You see the AI routing, the enterprise scalability, the $250,000 price tags. How do you actually narrow it down and select a partner without making a highly expensive, fatal error?
The selection playbook requires intense discipline. The absolute first step is defining the scope. You must know your technical requirements before engaging an agency.
Right.
Are you integrating a new feature into a legacy code base? Are you deploying a constrained clone app to test a local market? Or are you funding a custom build from scratch?
The data suggests conducting rigorous market research to understand competitor blind spots and establishing strict project milestones. But honestly, if I'm a startup founder operating on a tight budget, staring at a list of 20 highly capable firms,
The temptation is there.
the immediate temptation is to sort this list by the cheapest hourly rate and hire whoever is at the bottom.
And giving into that temptation is often the fastest way to bankrupt a startup. The data issues a stark warning on this. Cheap hourly rates almost always result in low-quality work and massive technical debt.
I'd argue it goes beyond technical debt. Think about customer acquisition costs.
Right.
If a startup spends $20 in marketing just to acquire a single new user, and that user's app crashes while trying to add a credit card because the code was sloppy,
They're gone.
that user deletes the app and never comes back.
Mhm.
You save $10,000 on the initial build, but you permanently handicapped your revenue stream.
The real cost of a bad app is churn. Founders are advised to prioritize reputation over raw hourly rate. Read the technical case studies, check their previous deployments for scalability, and engage in direct, highly technical discussions with their engineering team about the specific architecture they plan to utilize for your unique logistics challenges.
There's also a fascinating insight regarding geography and offshoring in the data. When looking for an end-to-end development partner, regions like Central, Eastern, and Western Europe are currently highlighted as top-tier locations.
Yes. Agencies based in those European regions tend to offer a highly desirable balance. They provide top-tier engineering talent and service quality, but at a more reasonable pricing structure compared to, say, the premium rates found in Silicon Valley.
Which makes a lot of sense.
Furthermore, they often possess excellent communication protocols, which is vital when managing a complex, multi-month build across time zones.
It is a truly global marketplace for talent, and a founder have to be willing to look beyond their own backyard to find the right architectural fit.
This raises an important question for anyone going through this vetting process. Are you simply looking for a contractor to type out code to meet today's deadline? Or are you searching for a technical partner that truly aligns with your long-term business vision?
That's a great point.
Because a great agency acts as a strategic consultant, identifying logistical blind spots and helping you navigate the market rather than just blindly executing a blueprint.
So what does this all mean? We started by talking about this simple, almost magical experience of tapping a glass screen and having hot food appear 30 minutes later. But whether you are an entrepreneur preparing a pitch deck for a new logistics startup, or just a consumer curious about the technology living in your pocket, the reality behind the glass is staggering.
It really is.
That seamless Friday night delivery rests on top of a projected $192 billion industry. It requires mastering complex operational models, navigating the pitfalls of database architecture, and funding highly specialized, deeply expensive engineering teams who are leveraging artificial intelligence and global logistics networks just to get your meal to your door.
It is a monumental invisible infrastructure, and I think there is a final lingering thought we can take away from analyzing this ecosystem. We have to look at the underlying economics.
Okay, economics.
The delivery drivers navigating traffic are generally making between $10 and $25 an hour.
And the platforms generate revenue by squeezing a commission fee from the restaurant and a delivery fee from the customer.
Right. But consider the friction we just unpacked. We have upfront development costs pushing toward $270,000 for a custom build, plus the absolute necessity of ongoing, expensive DevOps and server maintenance to prevent the system from collapsing under load.
The servers never sleep, and Amazon Web Services certainly doesn't give out its computing power for free.
Exactly. So the math becomes incredibly tight. How many small commission fees does an app need to process per minute just to break even, cover the massive server overhead, and eventually turn a profit for investors?
Got to be a massive volume.
Right. And when you observe elite agencies like Enatega engineering platforms that easily expand from restaurant food into medicine, grocery, and retail delivery, it forces a broader perspective.
Oh, wow.
Is the endgame of this $192 billion market actually about delivering a pizza? Or is the true goal to leverage that habitual food delivery behavior to construct an inescapable, ubiquitous digital infrastructure capable of delivering absolutely everything in our lives?
Wow. Once they condition you to trust the platform for your dinner, they can utilize that exact same dispatch infrastructure to deliver your prescriptions, your groceries, and your retail purchases.
Exactly.
From a simple magic trick to an inescapable global infrastructure. That is definitely something to chew on next time you're watching that little digital car inch across the map on your screen.